When Laura hears the opening bars, she spins round and grins, and makes several thumbs-up signs, and I start to compile in my head a compilation tape for her, something that's full of stuff she's heard of, and full of stuff she'd play. Tonight, for the first time ever, I can sort of see how it's done. And thus concludes High Fidelity by... You guys again? Back for more? We doing this? Alright. Oh, wait. There we go. Alright, let's, I guess, situate ourselves here. Game face on. Alright, everybody, welcome to the Tonto's Demise Week 7 recap. Currently in action. It's about somewhere in the third quarter of the Saints-Seahawks game. And we're doing this a little bit just to, a little bit early because really all the matchups are decided currently, except for one, which you probably know which one that is. Unless Alvin Kamara does something completely crazy and scores. Could he do it to Gags again? Wouldn't that be interesting? Although Gags still has another 3 points coming to him, I believe, from a long DK Metcalf touchdown. I haven't really paid much attention to the game, but as I said, we're doing this kind of live during the game here because going into Monday night, the Springfield Isotopes were ahead of Saquon It Ain't So by about 6 points or so, with Saquon having Tyler Lockett left to go. And as it currently stands, the Isotopes are still clinging to a lead, about 2.25. So, you guys are going to get the... bring it in here. Give you guys the pleasure of witnessing in real time me when it flips over to a defeat, from my victory to defeat, which is what I'm fully expecting is going to happen sometime during this video. So you guys get to revel in the glory of my misery whenever those numbers flip over, which I'm sure is going to happen sooner or later. So, all right. Since that's the case, we will not discuss we will break tradition by not discussing the defending champion first this week, and we will talk about the matchups that are already over. How about we start with Disco, since he is in first place, versus CMC Music Factory. This one is already, actually Disco has Gerald Everett going right now. Looks like he's got 5.3. And the current difference here, let's see, Disco is currently down by 16. Slightly, yeah. Well, 15.95 technically. So, unless Gerald Everett can pull something crazy, 16 points from him. Let's see, they're approaching the end of the third quarter there. Looks like 4 minutes left. As I speak, this matchup probably decided, so I guess we will switch, just in case, from this matchup away from Disco. Hey, we're just winging it as we go here, as you know. So we will go to, next matchup on my list is Dub C versus Ed Lager. This one, currently, Ed Lager's pretty far behind. He's got Callaway playing tonight, who currently only has 4 points. I don't think he's going to cover that. You still would need... you're still down by 40, almost 40. So Ed Logger, don't think that's going to happen for you. Dub C Hooligans, he's finished. His current score is 168.3. Ed Logger's current score is 129.15. He might tack it up a little bit more before the end here, but Dub C is going to get the win. Let's take a look. Dub C Hooligans, he's got Jalen Hurts. Let's see, just under 44 points for him this week. Interesting setup for this week. Ended up working for you versus Ed Logger. Dub C Hooligans starting not one, but two Baltimore Ravens in their high-flying passing attack. Two Ravens wide receivers. Both of them go for exactly 80 yards. One of them scores a touchdown. Marquise Brown and Rashad Bateman, who I think is the guy that was on injured reserve before, came back. I think he's the rookie. Not really sure who he was until Dub C picked him up. So Brown got you 19, Bateman got you 11, and your other, putting Patterson up there in the wide receiver spot since he is eligible for both wide receiver and running back. He got you 14 points. Gio Bernard, only points in running back spot, only getting points for receiving, 2 for 5, 2.5 points. Mitchell, running back from San Francisco, comes back, gets you 100 yards and a touchdown, 19.7. Kelsey, 13.5. Godert in the flex, 12. Your kicker, you played Gano from the Giants there. Kind of surprising outcome versus Carolina there. He kicked several field goals, got you about 16 points or so. And then you played the Atlanta Falcons defense. A couple turnovers. Looks like they blocked a kick. Got the win in that matchup. I think Yahoo says 10. And we bumped you up about 8, 6, or I don't know, 6. Let's see. One of the disadvantages, as I've said before, of doing this is Yahoo has, when I looked at the main Yahoo page, it's got the updated scores, but when I actually click on the matchup, it goes back and shows the unupdated scores. So, Dub C, looks like we added about 8 points to you, so the Falcons defense must have gotten, I don't know about your kicker, so maybe, we don't usually add 8, so it must have been 6. They must have gotten 16, something like that. But Ed Logger, as I said, you started Lamar Jackson versus Dub C, having 2 of his receivers. His only passing touchdown was caught by one of Dub C's receivers. Jackson gets you 40.5 points. Your receivers, I should say, Cooks, Robinson, and Callaway currently in action. Cooks, 7.1. Robinson, 3.6. And Callaway still at 3.9. So that's a little disappointing there from your 3 receivers. Red Logger, yeah, okay. Yeah, Callaway, he's up to 6.2. He just made a catch there for you. Your running backs, Swift and Gibson. Swift goes for 8 catches, almost 100 yards, and a receiving touchdown, on top of some rushing stats there. 28.5 points, good game for him. Callaway's points just went back down. I'm guessing he must have had a catch that was overturned there, unfortunately for you. Gibson, 7.5 points there. Fant, just under 9. Gaskin in the flex, still no Saquon. Somehow this Herbert guy on your bench from the Bears, even though they played Tampa Bay, even though they got destroyed by Tampa Bay, he still managed to put up 100 yards rushing and had a couple catches there. Had a pretty good, decent game. Would not have affected the outcome of this matchup. Not sure how much longer he's going to be relevant, with Montgomery coming back soon, I would imagine. Plus they have Damian Williams, kind of surprised. But this, I don't even know what his first name is. Khalil Herbert, no relation to Justin, I'm guessing. yeah, I was kind of surprised how well he's been performing. But I said you have Ed Logger's got Saquon on IR currently because he's been out. So Ed Logger, one of the few teams with a plethora of running backs. I'm not sure which to start from week to week, perhaps. Gaskin was in the flex there, though. Not too bad. Receiving touchdown for him as well. 17.7. Carlson, kicker from Las Vegas, gets you about 8 points. And then the Chicago Bears defense. Yahoo says 3. Let's see if we moved you at all. That must have been the correct score. 3 there for the Bears defense. They've been extremely hit or miss for you so far this year. Ed, the Bears defense, you're still sporting no other team defense. Let's see, the Bears are on a bye in week 10. So you got a couple weeks yet to figure something out there. But yeah, they've been really hit or miss for you. This week was a miss. Your wide receivers all getting single digits there. Really hurt you in this one. In a winnable matchup, said Dub C, only 168. But we're at the point of the season where any win is a win, no matter how ugly it might be. And the Dub C hooligans they are going to move up to 3 and 4 instead of falling to 2 and 5, which would be a really bad spot to be in. And they will drop Ed Logger to 3 and 4. Both of you will be 3 and 4 after this week. All right, what do we have next? We will do Yins or Jags versus Biscuits and Porn, the matchup of the week. Unfortunately, the bye week blues hitting Biscuits and Porn pretty hard this week. And Yins or Jags scores a fairly easy victory this week. Final score is, I believe, both of you guys are done. Got to go back to the Yahoo main page. Yins or Jags is going to get the win with 188.7, while Biscuits and Porn, unfortunately, only 133.45, which actually is going to, thanks to, looks like Disco is going to get just enough points from Everett to knock you out of the knockout pool this week, unfortunately. Biscuits and Porn, you will be eliminated from the knockout pool with your 133.45, unless Everett loses a fumble or sometime, or throws an interception maybe, and it's some, who knows. But at this point, unfortunately for you, Biscuits, all the bye week subs that you had to put in here, and injured players there. Yeah, Devontae Parker was out, Antonio Brown was out, all these guys on bye. Yeah, I guess you were probably expecting defeat this week, but unfortunately, said you're going to lose your spot in the knockout pool there too. For Yins or Jags, no Josh Allen, no problem this week. He plugged in Tannehill against the Chiefs. They dominated this game. He didn't have to do a whole lot. He got you 42 points. 3 receivers, Hopkins, DJ Moore, and Calvin Ridley. Hopkins gets 18.3, DJ Moore 13.3, and Ridley 12.6. 4 catches, only 26 yards, but he did grab a touchdown for you. Running backs, Booker and Freeman. Battle of the backups here. 14.5 for Booker. He got a touchdown. Freeman, just under 13 points. He scored a touchdown. One of the biggest surprises of this matchup was, let's see, you didn't have anybody. You think you dropped somebody and picked up Uzomah, CJ Uzomah, the tight end from Cincinnati. He had 3 catches, but 2 of them went for touchdowns. Quite the plug and play this week. Got you 24.1 points. Sutton in the flex gets you just under 12. McManus, your kicker, another Thursday night. That was a Thursday night game. Seems like an eternity ago whenever we're talking about Thursday night games by Monday night. McManus, he got you only 2 points. But then probably the biggest factor here, no surprise, was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. Actually, Chicago, so talking about Herbert in the last matchup there, they actually put up yardage against Tampa Bay here, even though Tampa Bay had 5 turnovers and 4 sacks. So Yahoo says 28, but we actually didn't really bump you up a whole lot, up to 188 there, so a gain of 9. So the Tampa Bay defense, I want to say 37 points there, looks like. Probably could have been a lot worse than that, but said it was enough to get you past Biscuits and Porn this week, even though he had a juicy matchup on defense there, and they performed pretty well. New England Patriots defense, looks like 3 turnovers, couple of sacks. They blew out the Jets 54-13. Yahoo says 17, but I think we bumped you up about 9 points then. From the difference there, Yahoo says 17, so it must have been about 26. Not great, kind of. There was definitely opportunity in those matchups, so the Jets must have actually put up a decent amount of yardage there and stuff to keep the score down. Probably said 37-26. 37, probably not what you would expect, hope for from Tampa Bay's defense. Kind of thought that the Patriots defense could have done a little bit more there against the Jets, but it really wasn't going to affect this matchup. The difference ended up being too much. The rest of Biscuits and Porn's team didn't really do a whole lot. He had Tom Brady, his quarterback, in that 38-3 Tampa Bay blowout. He only got 46.5 points, 4 touchdowns, only slightly over 200 yards passing. Your three receivers, you had to start Devontae Smith, and then you had to go with Van Jefferson and Tyler Johnson from the Buccaneers as a desperation play with no Antonio Brown. Smith gets you 11. Van Jefferson actually scores a touchdown there, gets you 14.3. Johnson, only 3.5. You went with both Packers running backs this week. Jones only gets you 9, and Dillon actually loses a fumble and gets you negative 0.2. So you actually lost points from one of your running backs there. That doesn't happen too often. Tight end, you had to go with Jonnu Smith, who actually not too bad. He got you 7.7. I didn't even think he was still much of a factor in the Patriots offense anymore. It was mostly been Hunter Henry and the other guys. I don't think Jonnu Smith has been. Kind of surprised that he's still even on your team and not on the waiver wire there, to be perfectly honest. But you could probably, have Cook from the Chargers he had a bye this week, so I imagine he will be going back to your bench and will probably be staying there. McKissick in the flex there, he got you 9.5 points. Kicker Crosby from the Packers gets you 5 point something. And then again, Patriots defense goes for about 26 points or so. Said unfortunately for Biscuits and Porn, let's see, so single digit scores there. Johnson, Jones, negative points from Dillon, Smith, McKissick, your kicker, everybody. Pretty much single digits, not much over from your quarterback and defense there. Just one of those weeks where it didn't quite happen for you. And Yinzer Jags will get the victory. He's going to move to 6-1, while Biscuits and Porn will drop to 4-3. And I do believe this will move Yinzer Jags back into first place. All right, let's click. Oh, clicking back. Every time we click back to the main Yahoo page there, you might catch it. We still got the Isotopes clinging to the lead versus Saquon It Ain't So there. Looks like Disco, that score hasn't changed yet. Let's do. We did Dub C versus Ed Logger. We did Yinzers versus. Okay, we will go to basically every matchup now has somebody going, but it's probably decided unless something crazy happens. I don't think it can change too much. Let's see. Shawshank went into Shawshank versus Possum Magic. Shawshank was going into this matchup with about a 2 or so point lead. And as Detling pointed out in the lineup, I think that Josh, you still had potential to lose this matchup, but it would have required -2 from the Saints defense, which is possible. Although I see they have 2 sacks, which means the lowest they could possibly score if they lose the game is -1. So you're in pretty good shape from here. Don't think nothing could happen that could cost you the matchup. I haven't watched the game at all. I'm not watching the game at all, but I assume they are in similar weather conditions to the Colts game last night, so there's not going to be much offense going on in this game. So I highly doubt the Geno Smith-led Seahawks are going to put up over 150 rushing yards and over 225 passing yards, and too many first downs. They're not going to get over 26 points there. Highly unlikely. Which means Shawshank is going to get the victory in this one for sure. Let's see. Currently, the score is 175.5 to Possum's 165.8. Possum is done, so that 165 will stand. And Shawshank, you're going to get some points here from your Saints defense, so you're going to be in good shape. Getting the victory, Shawshank, he's going to have Goff, since he had a bunch of bye week issues this week, still getting the victory. So you got to feel good about that. Anytime you're decimated by bye week's blues there, and you still get a victory, you can never be disappointed about that. You went with Goff. He got you 33.5 points. Cooper Kupp continues to just be ridiculous. 10 catches, another 150 yards, 2 more touchdowns. Speaking of being ridiculous, Jamar Chase, he gets you, Cooper Kupp had 40.6. Chase actually, he had the long touchdown this week. He got you, with that bonus, he actually got you 40.1. And Pittman, the wide receiver, who to combat Possum Magic starting Carson Wentz there, that worked out for you. He got 20.5 points. So, Josh, you got over 100 points from just your 3 receivers. And yet, you are still sitting at only 175 currently. 100 points just from your 3 receivers. 75 from everybody else put together currently. Wow. You had running back Darrell Williams goes for 8. Mike Davis, only 1 point. Mark Andrews, 7.8. AJ Green in the flex, 9.6. Suck Up Your Kicker goes for about 6.5. And currently, New Orleans Saints defense, it says 8. It's currently tied 10-10. So you're probably going to get a slight bump there. I haven't looked at what the yardage is there. But what your final score is going to be, probably going to end up being in the 180s there for you. So not too bad. But when your 3 wide receivers score 100 points, here I am. I'm feeding a fed horse here, Brian. But when your three wide receivers combine for over 100 points, you should probably have 200 points. But didn't quite work out this way. Fortunately, for you it was enough, and unfortunately for Possum Magic, he had some bye week issues too this week. Was not able to get. He's got some injury problems too. Still kind of surprised that you went with the San Francisco defense over Cleveland Browns defense. It was Thursday night game. Thursday night games are usually pretty shitty. San Francisco didn't do too good. I don't know if you were expecting a low-scoring game, maybe a lot of messy game, because of the weather conditions that we kind of knew were going to be happening Sunday night there. I think they basically, by Thursday night, it was already basically assumed, or at least known, that was probably going to happen there. So I don't know if that influenced your decision or not, and I am not certain if that would have changed the outcome of this matchup or not. But anyway, for Possum Magic, you had Carson Wentz go for 38.8. So unfortunately, he had Pittman on the other side there, who got more than half of Wentz's score. That never helps you. Your receivers, McLaurin, Myers, and Slayton. McLaurin goes for 25.2, Myers 9.5, and Slayton, back from injury, gets you 11.5. Running backs, Mixon. Wow, he did not have. Looks like he did not have any receiving stats in this game. Kind of surprising, as they've been throwing a lot to their running backs this year. Mixon got you 12 points. He did score a touchdown there. Harris, the running back from the Patriots, goes over 100 yards and scores 2 touchdowns. Gets you 28.3 this week. Higbee, your tight end, 9.5. Nico Collins, I think his name is. You stashed him on your IR there for a while. He came back, got you 4.8 points this week. Might have been better off starting, you had not many 2 options there. No Thielen, no Diggs this week. Tough one there. No Chubb due to injury. So, Koo, you picked up the kicker from Atlanta. Ended up being a pretty good play. He got you probably about 13 points there. And then the San Francisco defense, as I mentioned before, Yahoo says 7. I think they kept the yardage down a little bit. Excuse me. You had, 158. You're bumped up to 165. So Yahoo says 7. We must have bumped you up to about 13 or so for the San Francisco defense there. Not bad scores. Unfortunately, Possum Magic, you had Mac Jones on the bench going up against the Jets at home. He scored 52.25 points. Probably, I don't think we expected the Patriots to put up 54 points in that game, but perhaps if you had started Mac Jones in this one, the difference is about 14 points. That might end up being what could have turned this matchup the other way, depending on what Shawshank ends up with. Other than that, you pretty much did everything you could have done. Again, not sure what the Cleveland Browns actual score would have been there. Might have made a difference here. If a couple different, maybe some lineup changes for you, but easy to sit here and say that now. So Shawshank, you're going to get this victory. You're going to move up to 3-4, while Possum Magic is going to fall to 4-3. Things are going to get a little bit murkier here in the middle of the standings. All right, back to the Still Springfield Isotopes holding on to that narrow lead. Who should we talk about next? We did Shawshank, we did the Yinzer Jags, Hillbillies on PCP. That one's still going on. Disco's score has not changed, so I'm assuming Gerald Everett is not going to get the 16 more points you would need to cover this one. They're down to 12 minutes left in the game. I see the Seattle has the ball here, so still 10-10. Hopefully there's no overtime. Anything could happen. Yet to go. But yeah, it looks like with 12 minutes left, I don't think Gerald Everett is going to cover that 16. If it does, then I will be eating crow, I guess. Let's just take a quick look back here. Yeah, 16 points. Currently, said CMC Music Factory is done. His current score is 150.05, and Disco's current score is 134.1. So the difference there, 15.95. So you would need 16 points there yet from Everett. Every time I refresh, just waiting to see Saquon take the lead here. So, yeah, let's go to we'll go back to Disco versus CMC. Disco trying to maintain first place there, his hold on first place, and it is not going to happen this week. He is going to drop to 5-2, and CMC Music Factory, no CMC, no problem. He's going to squeak out another kind of lucky victory here this week, as he's going to move to 4-3. Let's take a look at what he's got. Kyler Murray goes for 43 points. The big factor here, Mike Evans, 6 catches, but half of those catches were touchdowns. 31.5 points. Julio, only 6. Tim Patrick, only 3.5. James Conner, 60 yards and a touchdown, 12.5 points. Hubbard, filling in for CMC. They just got thrashed by the Giants, though. He gets you 9.5 points. Seals Jones, actually another decent game from him, 11.1. Mooney in the flex gets you 6. Matt Gay, Rams kicker, your kicker and your defense, both the Rams. Gay gets you about 9.5 points, maybe 10. And the Rams defense, kind of surprising. They gave up a lot of yards and points there. Got a couple turnovers near the end there, though, against the Lions there. Let's see. Yahoo says 14, but Justin, I believe we said you were, 150? So you must have only gotten 17 points from the Rams defense there. Going to be enough to get you past Disco this week because he has Patrick Mahomes have, I think, no touchdowns this week, 2 turnovers. Possibly he was playing concussed in that game, I think. He only gets 28.8. And suffering, also you went with Mecole Hardman and Tyreek Hill, both starting this week. Hardman gets you just under 5. Looks like he lost a fumble as well, while Tyreek got you 12.5 points there down in the flex. Chris Godwin goes for over 100 yards and a touchdown this week, gets you 25. Said Hardman, 4.8. Beckham Jr., 4.3. Quite a disappointment there. Not a disappointment. Your running backs, Jonathan Taylor and Leonard Fournette. Taylor, again, over 100 yards and a touchdown, and even 21 points from him. Fournette, 80 yards and a touchdown, a couple catches, and even 17 points. Not too bad. Everett still here at 5.3. So Tyreek in the flex, 12.7. Prater, your kicker, goes for about 7 point something, 7.5. And then kind of a surprising outcome here. Carolina really falling apart. Perhaps if you had started the Green Bay Packers defense, this matchup might have gone the other way for you. Disco. But you went with Carolina at the Giants. I mean, they were a good defense. They started out the season pretty hot, but I don't know what the whole team has kind of fallen apart. They benched Sam Darnold, I think, yesterday. Yahoo says 2, and I think they only got you, Yahoo says 5. It might have been 8 with the bump there. Not much from the Carolina Panthers defense this week. So, yeah, it's going to be enough. CMC is going to squeak out another victory. Take a win any way you can get it, no matter how pretty or how ugly. A win is a win, and CMC will move to 4-3, while Disco will drop to second place. He's going to be 5-2. So yeah, he will. Let's see. He will be alone in second place because Yinzer Jags will be 6-1. He'll be 5-2. Biscuits and Possum both going to lose this week, so they will both drop to 4-3. So yeah, CMC will be 4-3. We're gonna have a whole bunch of 4-3s and 3-4s after this week. Praying that these Isotopes are going to be one of those teams that holds on. Oh, we're still there. We're still there. Still there, guys. How much time is left in the game now? 6.5 minutes. Still 10-10. Somebody please kick a field goal or something to keep this game from going to overtime. All right. I guess I got to slow down because we can't finish the recap here before the matchup is actually over. Who else do we have? Okay. We did all of them. those four. We will do Gags to Riches versus Hillbillies on PCP, even though this matchup still going on. But said with only 6 minutes left, it's going to take a lot. Hillbillies has Kamara still playing, and Kamara has gone off for almost 33 points tonight here. Gags has DK Metcalf going, getting points for him. I believe you got a long touchdown from Metcalf, so you're going to be tacking on +3 to what Yahoo says. And the current score is Gags. If we're got to add that +3, so Gags will be the only, probably, well, unless Brian can get some little bit more points from their Kamara. This might be a 200 versus 200 matchup here, but currently Gags, he's sitting at 216.45. Hillbillies 195.3. So technically, Hillbillies, you're still down over 20 points. 21.2 looks like. You still need from Kamara. I don't think that's going to happen. 22 points. That would put him at 55. Yeah, that's just probably not going to happen. Kamara, you can't complain about the results you're getting from Kamara. Probably would have been nice to have Gags be done going into this matchup, but unfortunately he has Metcalf who currently stands at 20.5 points, kind of counterbalancing and preventing you from pulling perhaps ahead in this matchup. But there's no way that Gags would not have started DK Metcalf in this matchup. So, Gags currently had Matt Ryan go for just under 48 points this week. So Metcalf is currently at 20.6. A.J. Brown, over 100 yards and a touchdown from him, 27.3. Robbie Anderson, only 4.5. Josh Jacobs, 15.8. A couple catches, gets a touchdown before he goes out with an injury. I believe they have a bye week next week, so you will perhaps have time for him to recover. I mostly know that because I might survive this week because of Jacobs going out and Kenyon Drake being more active in that game, the Raiders-Eagles game there. Picking up, big pickup for you this week, panned out really well. D'Ernest Johnson from Cleveland. He scores a touchdown, almost 150 rushing yards, couple catches there. Big factor in this matchup. He gets you 27.8 points. A good temporary fix for a week or two here for you, maybe. For Gags, their bye week's not till 13. So they said Kareem Hunt's going to be out for a while. Chubb might be coming back next week. We'll see what happens. But yeah, even if it was only 1 week rental for D'Ernest Johnson, he helps get you the victory this week. So that was money well spent. Mo Alley Cox, the tight end, goes for a touchdown, gets you 11.5 points. Picked up this guy too, just off the waiver wires, plug him in. Kendrick Bourne from the Patriots, put him in the flex there. He throws a touchdown pass, has 68 yards receiving. He gets you just over 17 points. Your kicker, Butker, goes for about 3.5 points. He missed his only field goal attempt. Actually, he missed one and made one. So, yeah, he got you about 3 point something. And then another big factor here in this matchup, Giants defense, 6 sacks, a turnover, a safety, only gave up 3 points. Yahoo says 100, or I'm looking at your score again, sorry. Yahoo says 23. Let's take a look at what you're actually bumped up there. Let's see, to 213 currently. So you got quite a bump there of 15, 16, 17, 18 points maybe. So about 40 or so for Gags there from the Giants defense. Big one there for you here. So yeah, that definitely the differences in this matchup. Said Metcalf getting 20, A.J. Brown 27. Said Matt Ryan, respectable, 48 points. Bourne. And it said Another 40 from your defense there, so pretty good scores. Going to have you, anytime, said good enough to get you over 200, obviously, this week. And should be a victory. Hillbillies on PCP. He actually had Burrow go for 60 because he had a long touchdown bonus there, 60.8. Unfortunately, Tyler Boyd, only 39 of Joe Burrow's 416 passing yards. That's a disappointment there. Got to be. Speaking of disappointments, St. Brown, wide receiver from the Lions, scores you 0. Debo, 7 for 100 and a touchdown, but he lost a fumble there, gets you an even 21. Kamara still standing at 32.9 with 5.5 minutes left to go in the game there. Damian Williams, Bears running back there, still playing second fiddle to Herbert, gets 1.8. Zach Ertz, now a Arizona Cardinals tight end, he goes for another touchdown this week, gets you an even 16 points. Hawkinson in the flex gets you 10.8. Kicker, McLaughlin from the Browns there gets you, he kicked a 50-yard field goal. He missed a 40 there, gets you about 6.5 points. And then, good one here for you was the Arizona Cardinals defense. Good pickup for them with no Steelers defense this week. You went with Arizona in a great matchup against Houston there. Let's see. Yahoo says 14. Take a look at what your actual score here. 14, you're up to 195. So yeah, you must have gotten a lot of points, extra points there. If you're at 190, say 192, you must have got like 24 or so from extra points there for the Cardinals defense. So they must have gotten you about 38-ish. Good performance from them in this matchup, but that looks like it's not going to be quite enough. That 0 from St. Brown hurt you. Williams not getting much. Everybody else, I mean, Boyd, disappointment, but really there wasn't much else you could do because yikes. And we said this before, Brian, your bench is a wasteland. The only player on your bench who is not on a bye or out injured this week is Mark Ingram, the running back for the Houston Texans there. Even your guys, the 2 guys on IR there, one of them was on a bye, so you got 2 extra people on your bench there. Yikes. Yeah, everybody was out. You really had no other options. Really at wide receiver there, even if you had picked up Bourne or somebody off the waiver wire there, like Gags did, not sure it would have made a difference. Kamara, he's up to 34.1 now. So let's see. Score still 10-10. Kamara doing everything he possibly can. Between him and Burrow, you've got 95 points currently. But the other guys kind of let you down this week. And you're still going to push 200 points. But unfortunately, Gags is going to get about 200. He's going to be pushing 220 there. All right. Yeah, that's it. So Hillbillies on PCP. You're going to lose this week. You're going to drop to 1-6, unfortunately. And your season is going to be on life support. Still alive, but we're not too optimistic at this point. And Gags, he's going to hold on and move up to 3-4. So, yeah, we're going to have a whole bunch of teams. If this Topes thing can hold on, we'll see. Come on. We're getting it's gonna happen at the very. It's gonna take, till the very last minutes of the game, hoping that there's no overtime. You couldn't just get it out of the way, right out of the gate, or something like that. You're gonna make me suffer till the very last minute of the game. So, all right, here we are. That's what's gonna happen, and we are still waiting on the outcome of the Saquon it ain't so versus Springfield Isotopes matchup. So let's take a look and see what we can do. Looks like we got 4 minutes left in the game. Saints still have the ball. So let's see. They're in Seattle's 20. So I guess we're basically can't end the recap here because we're still going on. So let's see. Looks like they're nearly in field goal range. Watching the play-by-play here. Looks like Seattle or New Orleans is currently going to have 4 minutes to go. It's going to be 3rd down and 5 at the Seattle 24-yard line. Looks like that's where they're going to be at. So if they can get a first down here, they're definitely in field goal range. Don't know what the weather is like there. I'm guessing raining pretty good. Let's take a look. One of the fun things here, if you watch on the desktop Yahoo here, I think they have it under tweets, but I don't think it's as nearly as efficient or interesting as it is here on the Yahoo main page here. Looking at the game, you can go to a thing called Social, where they post tweets from beat reporters about the game, pretty much giving you live updates as the game is going on, which is always, sometimes if a game that I'm interested in is not on TV here or available to watch on the internet readily, like on Yahoo or something, I don't really trust those bootleg sort of cheating sites where you can go on and watch games. I think you can do that. All right, let's take a look. Third down. Winston threw an incomplete pass, so they are going to be trying a field goal here. Seattle committed a 5-yard penalty, which is probably going to give encroachment. Wow. That's probably going to give the Saints a first down here. With just over 3 minutes left to play, the Saints, I don't see it. It's not showing how many timeouts each team has left currently. Here, let me go to this game channel and maybe it says Seattle looks like they have 1 timeout left. And yeah, the Saints just got a gift first down from the Seahawks there. So instead of kicking a field goal attempt, it's now 1st and goal. Winston to Callaway for 13 yards. That'll help Ed Lager a little bit there. 1st and goal at the Seattle 6-yard line for the Saints here. All right, so let's go back from game channel to this, see what happens. So how much time is left on the clock is going to be a big factor here in determining what happens. Kamara runs for 2-yard loss, knocks it back to the Seattle 8-yard line with 3 minutes left to go. Assume Seattle is not going to use their timeout yet. Saints are probably going to take the clock down as far as they can, down to the, well, they can't take it down to the 2-minute warning yet, probably after whatever their 2nd down play is, assuming they don't score. They threw an incomplete pass with 2 minutes and 23 seconds left. So they won't be able to run the clock down to the 2-minute warning here. Kind of saved Seattle 30 seconds here with that incomplete pass. So we'll see what happens. So Seattle is definitely going to get the ball here at the end. They're going to get another chance to score. drive down the field. So just what I don't want. Okay, New Orleans called a timeout with 2 minutes and 16 seconds left. Looks like Winston had to throw the ball away instead of having an incompletion there, like as an intentional incompletion. Excuse me. So Saints called timeout. 2 minutes 16 seconds left. It's going to be 3rd and goal from the Seattle 8-yard line. We'll see what happens here. Once they come back, we'll see if can New Orleans score a touchdown here, or are they going to have to settle for a field goal, which would mean Seattle would only need a field goal to tie the game up. But obviously there hasn't been much scoring in this game. Should have listened to Mighty Midgets and bet the house, bet the whole farm on the under in this matchup. 3rd and goal. We'll see what happens. This should be interesting. Wow, Winston gets sacked for a 7-yard loss. The last thing you needed to happen if you're the Saints there. Jeez. So now it's going to be 4th down, 2-minute warning occurring right now. They're going to go for a field goal. Still, that's only a 32-yard field goal attempt. So we got a couple minute timeout here while we wait for the 2-minute warning here. So let's go back and look at the league here. See if what's going on here. All right. If there's anything left to really discuss about this week. For my matchup, Isotopes here versus Saquon. Miles Sanders went down pretty early in this game. Got off to a hot start. Then went down with a sprained ankle pretty early in that game. Said he was looking real good. And I was really disappointed when that happened. That could end up being a big factor in this matchup. Said he got off to a great start, but went down pretty early. Would have liked to get in a couple extra points from him. Could have put this one out of reach for Saquon. It ain't so. And let's see. So after this week, depending on what happens, if the Topes can hold on, both him and Saquon will be 3-4. Dub C will be 3-4. Ed Logger will be 3-4. Gags will be 3-4. And Josh will be 3-4. So if we hold on, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams at 3-4. And there's going to be possibly will be 4-3. Biscuits will be 4-3. CMC will be 4-3. So that's 9 teams. Only one game separating you after this week, possibly. So unless the Topes fall here at the end, and then they would drop to 2-5 and be basically they'd be alone in 11th place because all the other 2-4s are going to win this week. Hillbillies will be alone at the bottom though at 1-6. So if that happens, let's take a quick look at the matchups next week. We got big one for the Topes again. Shawshank next week, trying to hold on, trying to climb back. Both teams trying to climb back to 500. CMC versus Possum. Both of you are going to be 4-3. That'll be a good matchup. Both teams needing to win that one. Disco versus Hillbillies. That could be pretty much about the nail in the coffin for Hillbillies next week if they can't get past second place Disco next week. That could drop you to. So you're going to be 1-6. That could drop you to 1-7, which would mean you have to win out your schedule and score a lot of points and win out your schedule just to get to 500 if you can't beat Disco next week. So Hillbillies, that's going to be an important one for you. And if there's any hope left for you of turning it around, you're going to need it there. Ed Lager versus Biscuits. Biscuits trying to get back on track. Ed Lager trying to get back on track as well and get back to 500. That'll be a good matchup. Both of you guys needing that one. And then we got Gags versus Detling. That'll be a good one too, as Yinzer Jags will be taking over first place after this week. All right, let's see if what we got here. Okay. Saints kicked the field goal. They're currently up 13-10. Kicked off with a touchback. All right, so here we go. Can Geno Smith get Tyler Lockett involved? Get enough points here? Can they drive down the field into field goal range here with a minute 56 left? I believe said the Seahawks only have one timeout left. So Geno Smith, incomplete pass on first down. Going to be 2nd and 10 at the 25. So yeah, next week, just taking a look here. Once again, so we're if the Toasts can hold on, it's going to really muddle things up here in the middle. It's what we like to see as things are going on. Definitely keeps things interesting here for most of the teams involved. Yinzer's kind of pulling away, keeps getting victories here. He's going to be 6-1. He'll have a full game lead over Disco now, and is going to be pulling 2 games ahead of Biscuits and Possum Magic. All right, Geno Smith sacked for an 8-yard loss on 2nd down. So it is going to be 3rd and 18 for Seattle there. All right, let's see. Yeah, so this could be, wow. On 3rd and 18, Geno Smith sacked again. So it's going to be, Seattle takes their last time out. It's going to be 4th down and 28 with a minute 13 left. So that's tacking on a couple points there for Shawshank with sacks there. Excuse me. So it's going to be 4th and 28. I'm guessing we're going to get some kind of crazy hook and ladder play, a bunch of laterals, hopefully. Nothing involving Tyler Lockett here. Still, it's not gonna lie, completely shocked that Tyler Lockett currently only has 3.2. Yeah, really just a win I need. Perhaps I don't deserve once again. But a win is a win. Let's see what happens now. New Orleans took a timeout, so we're kind of just waiting to see what happens here on this 4th and 28. Don't think anything. Let's take a look at, let's see. Josh has the Saints defense currently in this matchup. Looks like you're going to get a couple points because Seattle currently has 14 first downs, 90 rushing yards, and 129 passing yards. So unless something crazy happens here, you're going to get +3 for that, +6 for rushing, and +6 for passing. We will see what happens here on this 4th down play. Do I have my phone here? Could perhaps bring it up and actually real quick watch to see what happens. So, okay, yeah, we got it on the phone here. Here we go. 4th and 28.
To maybe save the season. If you thought this was a must-win for Seattle. Here's Gino.
Running around in the end zone, throwing it. Almost intercepted. Game over. All right. Oh, my goodness. So, turnover. Saints are going to get the ball. Seattle has no timeouts. They can just kneel a couple times. So, yeah, that game is over. So, Josh is going to get some extra points there. What? 3 for the win. There's 3 more. 6, 6, and 6. That's 12. 18. You're going to get an extra, like 18 points there, Josh. From the Saints defense there. So you're going to actually have close to 30 from the Saints defense. We're going to bump you up. Said what? You're currently at 1. So yeah, you're going to be actually close to 200 for Shawshank with the results from the Saints defense here. And again, the Isotopes, well, I guess we can actually review this matchup now since the game is essentially over. Seattle will not be getting the ball back as Winston has taken 2 kneel downs and there's less than 40 seconds left in the game, so there will be no more plays run and we can actually run through this matchup. Springfield Isotopes versus Saquon It Ain't So. Isotopes are going to squeak out the victory. Final score is going to be 185.3 to 183.05. So a 2.3 points there. That's all you needed. Springfield Isotopes. Stafford goes for 61.5. Devontae Adams, Robert Woods, and T. Higgins just under 19.5 for Devontae, 15 for Woods, and 13.2 for Higgins. Running backs, Edmonds and Drake, 10 points for Edmonds, 16.9 for Drake. Said really, Josh Jacobs perhaps going down in that game is the deciding factor in this matchup, getting Drake extra playing time, getting a touchdown there. Gesicki, 21.5 points. Said Sanders was in the flex. He got 3.7 before going out there. Kicker, Folk got about 14 points. And then the Miami Dolphins defense, Yahoo says 7. I believe the actual score, though, was 10. And it is obviously just enough to get past Saquon It Ain't So, who did have some bye week problems this week. Was kind of hoping that you were going to start Baltimore's defense against Cincinnati. It's kind of surprised that you didn't and went with Indianapolis. I don't know if you guys were both pretty confident that there was going to be very little offense in that game. But yeah, they had me sweating at the end there when Garoppolo kept throwing in. They kept punching the ball out of 49ers guys' hands and recovering the fumbles. And then Garoppolo throwing a ridiculous interception at the end there. Almost disaster, but the Topes are going to get the win. Rodgers said in for Dak this week. He goes for 54.5 points. Lockett, again, 3.2. He needed to get you 5.2. Couldn't quite do it there this week. Christian Kirk, an even 15. Ruggs, 7. Derrick Henry survived. I survived. Derrick Henry, 2021. 17.5 points from him. He threw a touchdown. He did not run for any touchdowns. Under 100 yards. So, yeah. Basically got saved by having a down performance from Derrick Henry. Darrell Henderson, 9.5. Kyle Pitts goes off for 26.5. Corey Davis catches a touchdown in the flex, gets you 14.5. Tucker, your kicker, only 1 field goal. He got you about 6.5. And then the Colts defense there. Yahoo says 20. We bumped you up, I'm going to think about 9 to 29. Yeah, 29 or so. So a good performance from your Colts defense. So basically 30, 83, 84 points-ish from your quarterback and defense there. But said saved by a quiet game from Henry there. Other than the week 1 where they kind of got thrashed by the Cardinals, but Cardinals have been thrashing everybody. He's been at least over 22 points every week. Kind of got saved this week, and I'm going to say it, got lucky. But a win is a win. Said Topes, we needed this one, and fortunately we got it. And now Davante Adams is on the COVID protocol, hoping that, and they play Thursday night. So I'm kind of torn about this because Thursday night, I hate having players play on Thursday night, especially, and then playing in Arizona. Could be a game where Davante Adams really wouldn't do much to begin with, so maybe it's gonna be, if he ends up not playing, they said he's vaccinated, but they have not said if he actually has COVID or if he has just been exposed to contact, and so they're taking precautions. So I think, I'm pretty sure it said he's vaccinated. So yeah, but since they're playing Thursday night, if he has COVID, obviously he's going to be out for a while. And if he is just a contact, I think their defensive coordinator tested positive. So I don't know if, and I think both the Bears and the Packers are both like on restrictive, whatever the rules are with COVID-19 for this week. Doing all their meetings virtually and things like that, getting ready for Thursday. So I don't know if Davante Adams is going to be ready, which could be okay, maybe, because I got enough extra guys to plug in there for next week at wide receiver. Doesn't help that Sanders is going to probably be out. So even if he can't play, still got enough guys to throw in there. Okay matchups. So we'll see. We're going to have to go up against Josh, who's going to be at full strength with Herbert back. Obviously, he's got Kupp, Chase, Jefferson, Dalvin Cook. So we'll see. It's going to be a difficult matchup no matter what there. Both teams trying to get back to 500. All right. So yeah, Biscuits and Porn will be eliminated from the knockout pool this week. And I think that is about it. We kind of wrapped up all the little looking forward here to next week while we were watching the end of the Seahawks-Saints game there. Yeah, so anything else to discuss? I don't think so. You guys I guess kind of we're knocking the trades a little bit here. But I think I explained the whole Woods thing last week, that I think him and Ridley are fairly even. I expect Cooper Kupp can't keep this up all year long. Woods is good enough to be able to bounce back and be a serviceable guy. And said I like the schedule going forward for the Rams more than I like the schedule going forward for Ridley, and I see them as basically even. So I got Stafford. That's why I went with Woods. And you guys were kind of surprised, but I thought that Gags was going to reject the Matt Ryan trade, and I didn't think he was going to give up Cousins so easily, but he did. I don't know if it's still on here. I know you guys kind of knocked Cousins in the podcast last week, but let's see. Okay, everything's kind of, Yahoo has adjusted the point totals but if you had looked at the player stats going into this week, they've already added this week's stats, and obviously Cousins didn't play this week, but going into this week, Kirk Cousins was the number 5 scoring quarterback in the league this year, ahead of Stafford, ahead of Dak, only 2 points, I believe, 2 points behind Herbert, or maybe two points behind Herbert, who was at number 4. I think Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray were up there. Yeah, I think those were the top 3, pretty obviously. I think, yeah, Herbert was 4 and Cousins was 5. The top square, yeah. So Cousins has more fantasy points so far, had more fantasy points so far this year than Dak Prescott. Uh, he was number 5 overall. He's down to like 10 now because of the bye weeks. That'll bounce back up there, but so yeah, he was only. I mean, we talked about how good Herbert is, and that's no joke. But Kirk Cousins was only 2 points behind him overall in point total. So will he keep it up? I don't know. They've obviously got great receivers there. They play the Packers in Week 11, whenever Stafford is going to be on his bye. So that's going to be a good at home against the Packers. So that'll be an ideal position to start Kirk Cousins there. Also, possibly might look at making a trade here with somebody because I know a couple of you. Not this week against Josh, who has Justin Jefferson, obviously. Maybe Tree looking for a quarterback, possibly with Russell Wilson there. He's got Thielen. So possibly some trade possibilities there. Maybe Josh would be interested in Stafford to Cup connection there. I don't know. You'd have to make it pretty worth my while for that trade. I don't know what you could give me, unless you gave me. Probably would have to give me Herbert, and I don't think that is going to happen. Any chance that's going to happen? Although he might become expendable for you because you got Chase looking like he's going to be huge keeper potential going forward here. So yeah, basically that was my reasoning for making that Matt Ryan to Cousins trade. Again, I guess you guys didn't look at the numbers. Said Cousins was number 5 overall in fantasy points, and didn't think Gags was just going to give up that easy. I knew Gags was in a tough spot. Needed a quarterback for this week. He would have had to play. Maybe I'm gonna guess you would have picked up Winston this week. Let's see what was his point total. He scored 38 points this week, so that you could have picked up and played Winston and probably still gotten the victory. Would have been a 10-point difference there. Yeah, you won by 20, so still would have gotten the victory. Yeah, so basically that was it. Cousins has a good matchup when Stafford's on bye. Cousins also potentially some trade possibilities there with him, and yeah, that was basically the whole gist of it. Purging myself from Atlanta Falcons players there. So still think Wood. I mean, you saw what Calvin Ridley did again this week. He did catch a touchdown, but he only had a couple catches and only 20-some yards. So I'm just not coming. I mean, if he comes around and blows up, hey, good on Detling for making that trade. But I'm comfortable at this point switching Ridley and Woods. I think, again, Cooper Kupp probably can't maintain this pace, and hopefully Woods picks it up going forward down the line here. Not that he's not doing horrible. He's doing decent, but there's definitely room, obviously, for more here. So going forward. So, all right, I think that's all that there is to talk about. Yeah. So we're gonna have Yinzer Jags taking over first place, 6-1. Disco will be 5-2. Biscuits and Porn, Possum, and CMC will all be 4-3. Saquon, Ed Lager, Shawshank, Gags to Riches, Isotopes, and Dub C are all going to be 3-4. So we are going to have a big log jam between 3rd place and 11th place with one game now separating all of those guys. Point totals coming down into factor here. But, which reminds me, again, I really don't know that anybody is going to makes it this far along in the recaps here, but I don't understand why so much hate and negativity about this. Justin Tucker getting the extra 3 points for a long for the long field goal. I mean, I understand that it happened in the season. I mean, it happened early in the season, like week 2 or week 3. It's 3 points, and I understand this whole idea of, and respect the whole idea of not changing a rule during the season. Okay? But it's kind of a rule that is sort of in place. We give 3 points for scores that are over 65 yards. I don't see why it's such a big deal that we give it for a kick that is over 65 yards. Also considering it's never, and I think Disco pointed out, it's never happened. This is the one time it's happened in the history of the NFL. Ever. Was this one time. So, how is it, why is this no, and I know I put it on the line app, because I don't just throw things in without getting feedback, and nobody said anything like dismissive or against getting those extra 3 points to Tucker, so I didn't see why it was a problem. So yeah, giving those 3 bonus points, like it's not like I'm trying to change the rule to like completions are only a half a point now, or interceptions are only -2 instead of -3, something like that. Something that really affects the week to week outcomes here. Nobody complains about those long touchdowns, like the bonuses that we give, So this is not something that I think significant that is going to have any effect on the standings and the playoff hunt. I mean, it happened in week 3. So if your playoffs somehow comes down to 3 points, or Jay somehow getting in or out of the playoffs by 3 points or whatever, however unlikely that scenario is, I find it hard to not say that he didn't deserve that 3 points. I mean, if it was, I think, week 3, and we even have an extra week this year, so you've got 11 more weeks to jockey for playoffs position. I mean, it's just, I don't understand why everyone's so against it, or are now talking vocally against it. If you really want, I will take those points away, but I don't see why there is any reason to. Like, it's not a significant rule change. I understand, again, that we don't change rules during the season, but this is it's only like a partial rule change that it affected one little thing. And I think we're worrying way too much about how it's going to affect things going forward. 3 points is not going to really be anything. I said, it's not a rule change that really affects anybody at any point in the season here. Like I said, if perhaps I was going to change if we wanted to change or take away points for completions completely, or make receptions only half a point, or any other rule change would not fly during the regular season. But this one, I said we give already those long bonuses for touchdowns. I don't see why it's a big deal if we give one for the kick. We just never thought, I guess, just something we never thought about till it actually happened. And I really, personally, I think if you miss the playoffs by 3 points at the very end of the season, it comes down to somehow Jay beating someone by 3 points. Only 3 points. Again, we're going to have an extra week this year. We're talking about 3 points when probably everyone is going to be over 2,000. So that's three points out of 2,000 that you guys want to make a mountain out of here. So, I mean, again, there was no dismissal of it or rejection in the lineup. So I assume most everybody sees that, and I assume we're all cool about it. But if you guys are not, then I mean, if more people are against it than are, we can take those 3 points away. It really would not do anything to the current standings. I just think we're really taking this 3 points. I don't know if Brian is being really serious about how angry he would be if Jay gets in with those 3 points. I don't know. I don't understand why this is such a controversial or big deal than it is. So anyway, if you guys decide that you don't want it to be a thing now, then we can always go back and take those 3 points away. But again, I didn't get any negative feedback about it. Assumed everybody would be okay, was cool with it, and put it in there. So that's it. That basically is it. All right, that's enough. I had my beer ready to go in case I had to pop it open and drown my sorrows. But thank you, Tyler Lockett, for saving me from drinking that beer. So yeah, this will be nice to finish up the recap video here. It's Monday night. It's not even midnight yet, so it feels good to be done and have this out of the way. All right, guys. So we said we got a pretty interesting week coming up. Said a lot of these teams that are in the middle playing each other. Said Topes versus Shawshank, CMC versus Possum, Disco versus Hillbillies. Those are two guys on the top and the bottom. Dub C and Saquon, Ed and Biscuits, Gags versus first place. So 4 of the 6 matchups are going to be, that'll be important for Gags. If he can win and knock, said Yinzer Jags, get them another victory or give them another defeat, maybe knock them down a little bit, keep him from pulling away from everybody else here early on in the season. Maybe make things a little bit more interesting at the top here if Gags can get a victory next week. So, yeah, these are all going to be good matchups to watch and important for an important week here for the Topes, the Shawshank, CMC, Possum, Dub C, Saquon, Ed Logger, Biscuits and Porn, and Gags to Riches. So, yeah, these are going to be, a real important week in terms of standings positioning here. So as we all jockey to get closer to it's going to be week 8, you need to get probably 8 wins to ensure a over 500 record. 7 wins, best you can be is 7-7. So yeah, magic number everybody is going to be shooting for this year now is 8, even though there will probably be 7-7 teams making the playoffs, maybe 6-8, who knows? But always when we get these jumbled up middles, it always makes, as the season progresses and jockeying for position, fighting for a win, any win you can get is important. Said even if it's, whether it's pretty or whether it's ugly, a W is a W, and in such a competitive league, any one you can get is gold. So I will take the W this week. All the 2 and 4 teams won this week, and all the 4 and 2, and all of the 3 and 3 teams except for Justin. So all the 3 and 4s won, and all of the 4 and 2s and 3 and 3s lost, except for Justin there. So, all right, everybody, we'll see you back here. Thanks for listening or watching or whatever it is you do. Hopefully, everyone's teams and players meet or exceed expectations this week coming up. Nobody gets hurt, and we all have a lovely Halloween. And we are back here next week to talk about what happened in week 8. Not actually, I won't see what happens. Who's playing next Monday? I think my matchup is not decided till Monday night there. So this will be going on. We got Chiefs versus Giants on Monday night. So we will probably have some matchups not being determined one way or the other until Monday night. And actually, so we'll have to do this recap probably Monday night because barring any kind of incident, I haven't seen an update yet. But next Tuesday is when, fingers crossed, I will finally be getting to go see the band that dresses up like the guys from the Transformers cartoon movie, which was supposed to be spring of last year. So a year and a half later, I don't even know where this place is in Pittsburgh somewhere. Cybertronic Spree is the name of the band. I don't even know what kind of music they play. They play like stuff from the Transformers soundtrack, but yeah, they all dress up like characters from the Transformers movie. I'm super excited. I just want to see this with my own eyes and experience this for like years now, ever since I first discovered it. So I hope, hopefully it's not canceled. We're still going on with COVID here, so you never know. But yeah, that's next Tuesday. I am super stoked, hoping that it actually happens. And that is election day. Go Fetterman for Senate. Love that guy. One of the only time I've ever been confident or comfortable enough in supporting a political candidate to put their sign out in my yard, wherever property is, where I'm currently living. I do have a Fetterman sign out in my yard, probably hanging there. So hopefully he gets elected to the replacing Toomey for the PA Senate there. So fingers crossed for that. Fingers crossed for the Cybertronic Spree, and fingers crossed for the Springfield Isotopes next week. So, all right. Thanks everybody again. Oh, I mean, we're pushing an hour and a half here. We kind of had to push it extra time. You know, we were watching the end of that Saints-Seahawks game here. So, all right, guys, everyone. Once again, thank you for listening, watching, and we will see you back here to analyze the play-by-play here on Monday night's matchup next week. So we'll do it again probably next Monday. Because if I don't do it Monday night, probably won't be able to do it on Tuesday. So, all right. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you sometime next week. Bye.